Paging Dr. Teal is a podcast dedicated to highlighting the importance of a holistic approach to mental health, which emphasizes the connection between the mind, body, and spirit. The goal of holistic wellness is to achieve maximum well-being where all domains are functioning at their best. When it comes to holistic health, we're looking beyond the physical body and addressing physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and intellectual health collectively. I'm Dr. Teal, your psychologist bestie and host of Paging Dr. Teal. Join me on a highly relatable journey of discovery, holistic wellness, and being happier, healthier, and whole. With holistic wellness, people accept responsibility for their own level of well-being, and everyday choices are used to take charge of one's own health. Health is wealth, so take care of yourself, friends. Paging Dr. Teal is currently available on Anchor, Apple, or Spotify. But regardless as to how you listen to the podcast, please be sure to subscribe, like, share, and write us a review. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Paging Dr. Teal, and visit us on the web at www.pagingdrteal.com. And if you have a question or situation you want to receive some guidance on, send them to pagingdrteal@gmail.com. I'm here for you, so I want to hear from you, friend. Hey, so I've got sort of a hybrid, if you will, a teachable tangent and a random but relevant rolled all into one, friend. Let's get into it. Last week, we talked about financial wellness with Harvest Time Financial and their founder, Miss Ashley Gross. And last week, I learned about credit utilization. Before, I thought that the rule they have about credit utilization, which designates, so on your credit cards, for optimal credit, your utilization rate should be at 30%. So optimal credit utilization is 30%. And at 30%, there aren't necessarily any negative implications as it relates to your credit score. Beyond that, you get into trouble. And that 30% credit utilization means for all of your credit, not just one card, but all of them collectively. I was mistaken in thinking that it applied to each individual credit account. But I learned and was informed from Ashley Gross of Harvest Time Financial otherwise. And so we're talking about accountability this week. And financial wellness, if you ask me, in order to be financially well or healthy, you've got to practice accountability. You've got to be able to account for where your money's going so that you can change habits that will allow you to more better allocate your funds and live within your means. And so I wanted to share a little bit more about what I actually learned outside of the credit utilization, the 30% credit utilization rule, and I say that with air quotes. So I also got the chance, friends, to learn about the debt snowball method. Have you ever heard of that? I've heard about it in passing and had a surface level understanding. But after really having a discussion about it and doing my own research, I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And I can see how that's motivating. So the debt snowball will help you get some quick wins and develop serious momentum in regards to your financial wellness. With the snowball method, you'll make minimum payments on your debts except for the smallest one. Then you'll literally throw as much money as possible at that smallest debt that you're not paying the minimum on. So how does this work? You start by putting all of your attention, friend, on one single debt. You pay more, essentially, in order to not only address the interest, but also begin to slowly but surely chip away at your actual debt. Paying more essentially allows you to eliminate that debt more quickly, which absolutely makes sense. You start with the smallest debt because, duh, it's the smallest and ideally should be the most manageable. And once you eliminate that small debt, you got those small fries out of the way, it's likely that you'll feel more empowered and motivated to continue in tackling your debt. It serves as a positive reinforcer. And so you were able to address this debt. You no longer have this debt anymore. So that's freed up money for you. And I don't know about you, but putting more money back in my pockets makes me feel good. And it's definitely going to motivate me to figure out additional ways to save more money. So after you've knocked out that first debt, you'll take what you were previously paying on that debt and add that to the minimum amount for your next debt that you're going to address. So as the snowball rolls over, it picks up more snow. You get it? So think of it this way, friend. You want to accumulate a huge debt snowball to wipe out all of your debt. So get the ball rolling so that you can get your bag growing. That sounded like bars to me, friend. Anywho, moving on. So I'm starting this week, honestly. I've accumulated a lot of debt going to grad school. I had to supplement my income oftentimes through credit cards because there were periods where I couldn't work. And so accumulated all that debt along with student loan debt. We're all in that gang. Most of us are. It's okay. But for a long time, honestly, I really thought and accepted that being in debt was going to be a way of life for me. I settled into the fact that I acquired all of this debt and I was going to have to deal with that. And I was okay with being in debt and making minimum payments for the rest of my life until I die. However, after I had my free consultation with Harvest Time Financial, honestly, friends, I walked away feeling a bit more empowered and motivated to really make meaningful change in my spending habits to secure my financial wellness. So I wonder now, friend, after hearing my story, are you ready to start your journey to financial wellness and begin building generational wealth? Are you? You should be. So contact Harvest Time Financial on Instagram. So you can reach out to Miss Ashley Gross of Harvest Time Financial and schedule your free and conveniently scheduled consultation to begin your journey towards financial wellness. That's Harvest Time Financial. You can send them a direct message or go right ahead and click the link in the bio to schedule your free consultation today. What are you waiting for? You're welcome, friend. The key to accountability is creating enough external positive reinforcers to trigger a more appropriate cycle of behavior. I'm going to bring that back. That was loaded, I know. The key to accountability is creating enough external positive reinforcements to trigger a more appropriate cycle of behavior. So what do I mean by that? A positive reinforcer is a thing, stimuli, if you will, that is added and it increases the likelihood of a behavior. So that is a positive reinforcer. It is added and it increases activity. So to create a larger external network of these different triggers, what would that look like in theory? I recently joined an accountability group, if you will, for weight loss. There are some ladies that I was introduced to through a high school friend who randomly, but not randomly, she and I reconnected. And And I think she and I reconnected through our shared love for learning and sharing knowledge. She is super smart and outgoing and has always been really sweet and outgoing, and it's nice to be able to reconnect in a positive way that encourages knowledge exchange and also my own personal betterment. So in this group, we're on Marco Polo and we check in. I need to do a better job at checking in. I'm so sorry if any of my slim and sassy ladies are listening. That's what we call ourselves, the slim and sassy girls. Ow. But anywho, like, I've really grown to love this level of accountability and connection on a shared interest with these ladies. And so we use Marco Polo and check in frequently regarding what we've eaten, meal plans, activity level, daily stressors, whatever the case may be. Small victories, challenges, things along that line. Just sharing our experience in trying to create more healthier habits while also being accountable. And what I love about this group is that just the level of transparency. Like, I get in this group and everybody's dropping their weights and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to put my number on there. But I have so much respect for the ladies that bear it all. That is so inspiring. And I think that it's beautiful to share that level of vulnerability with somebody, especially when you have a shared goal in mind. It's like you bond over something positive and life-changing. And so it's interesting. It's really interesting, and it's like being a part of something positive. And so I say all of that to say, in the group, there's a high level of transparency, but there's also such good positive energy in normalizing imperfections. So as women, we all have periods of time where our moods are down, whether it's PMS or other health-related issues, our moods are down. So how do you manage being positive and focusing on your goals and having a set routine that's going to allow you to feel better, be better, and do better when you're in a terrible mood? And so to be able to check my messages and see that there's someone else going through the same thing that I'm going through, and being bold enough and vulnerable and transparent enough to share her experience with me and allow me to grow through her experience too, is remarkable. And I love the honesty and the sincerity and the actual commitment that it takes to consistently do that. And so I say all of that to say, I thought that it'd be necessary for us to revisit accountability. I did my first episode on accountability, and accountability looks very different now versus back in, I believe it was January, where I originally released the accountability episode. I think accountability now, it requires a very humbling level of transparency and honesty with ourselves. I also think that it requires a higher level of planning as well as execution. And in doing all of those different things, fundamentally, I think that we have to plant external positive reinforcers to keep us moving towards the next carrot, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so change is, it's interesting when you think about change. I try to think about change through my own eyes, because when I think about change through my eyes and the things that I struggle to change, it makes me a lot more compassionate for other people, because I've been struggling to change certain things for longer than I should. And if it's taken me this long to have that awareness and be close to, changing that thing, but not there, that means that I have to have a higher level of compassion and grace for other people. And so I think change teaches us a lot about ourselves, and the journey of learning to be accountable requires for you to create some external system of accountability. And through engagement with that, you internalize the self accountability piece and learn how to hold yourself personally accountable without those external things. It takes a village, literally. And it's interesting how if you build a strong enough momentum, you get there. But it takes consistency. Like with the group, so the gift and the curse are all the messages that you have to listen to. It's a gift when you're having a bad day and someone says something on there and it makes your day. You're like, oh my God, she was talking about me. I understand, me too. You feel heard, you feel seen, you feel understood in that moment. But then there are days where, you're busy and you feel guilty because you haven't checked in, so you don't feel like you're being as accountable and committed. And then you have like 16 messages to listen to, and some are longer than others. And you're like, oh my God, I just want to get through all the messages, listen to them all, and respond and not be rude. But, this is going to take forever. And then I got to record and I'm looking crazy today. Like all the things that I think about. But what I've loved about the experience is that once you create that external network of accountability and you start to internalize it, the more you engage with it externally, the more it embeds in you and the more it becomes a second thought. Like, I think with this whole weight loss thing, women always want to lose weight, blah, 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 right? I think it's really starting small. It's in our habits. Our quality of life or lack thereof is a direct representation of our daily habits. So you are what you eat. You are what you do, not what you say you're going to do. And so in internalizing that external accountability, like with the girls in the group, for example, I love how sometimes I'll hear something that they might say or that they might do. And it's like, little reminder, like, no, you don't have to do that. You can do this instead. Or, eat those cucumbers instead of eating those hot fries. little things like that. And so it takes external engagement with like-minded people in order to help reinforce your desired change. It takes external engagement so that you can begin to internalize it more. And the more you internalize it, it sticks and it becomes, I don't want to say a part of you, but it does. It essentially becomes a part of you, so it becomes second nature. And once we make something second nature, then we've internalized it and we've done it and we've changed. And so that is how we change in a roundabout, long, convoluted type of way. But there's a lot of truth to that. We have to first engage with those external things that we seek to be like, and then we're able to internalize more of that. Like, you would not take reading advice from a blind man. And so it works the same way in becoming like something different, something new. For today's On the Couch with Doc, story time. Our negative thoughts can create anxiety, anger, resentment, jealousy, and an array of different emotions. But negative thinking is normal. However, if this way of thinking becomes incessant, it can lead to depression and other self-destructive behaviors, derailing us from the things we want most in life. At a minimum, Negative thinking saps our energy, erodes our self-confidence, and can put us in a bad mood. Certainly, many would agree that our thoughts come and go so quickly that it's impossible to notice them. But with awareness and an attitude of compassion, we can redirect our thoughts to more positive ones. Two Wolves is a Cherokee Indian legend and illustrates the most important battle of our lives, the one between our good and bad thoughts. Here's how the story goes. An old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside me," he said to the boy. "It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger and envy and sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego." He continued. "But the other wolf is good. He is joy and peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and inside of every other person around us too." The grandson thought for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one that you feed." Our thoughts can be our own worst enemies. That is, if we let them. Think about how you may be feeding your negative thoughts by allowing them to rule your mind. And next time you have a negative thought, catch yourself and ask, what is this thought doing for me? You will find that the answer is that they're disempowering you. You can immediately feel more empowered by focusing on something good in your life and cultivating a practice of gratitude. We can create greater peace, confidence, and a more positive outlook by learning to manage our thoughts. After all, this battle can be won because we have the power of choice. Which wolf are you feeding, friend? Remember, you always have a choice. Have you gotten your CMOS yet? Friend? Yes, I'm talking to you. What are you waiting for? All you have to do is use promo code PagingDrTeal to get 10% off on your CMOS, your detox tea. And then orders over $50 get free shipping. What are you waiting for, friend? Why haven't you gone over to the Oh Well shop to get your CMOS? I know that you know that CMOS helps to control your appetite. I know that you know CMOS supports immune system, your immune system, friend, and helps to fight infection in the year of COVID. I know that you know CMOS boosts metabolism, eases joint pain, and supports heart health, friend. And I know that you know CMOS also promotes your mental and emotional health and soothes the digestive tract. And I was just trying to make sure I got it all and I was clear. Because I know you already know this, friend, because we already talked about it. So, what are you waiting for? Stop playing around and invest in your health, friend, with this CMOS. You can get your Irish CMOS gel infused with turmeric or elderberry if you'd like. But if that's too fancy for you, you want to keep it cute on your first round, try out the sea moss supplements. I love them, in fact. I recently started putting sea moss in my smoothies, in my teas, and I also put it in a cup of warm lemon water. Lovely. And I love it. My skin looks better. I have a lot more energy. And I feel like, especially given the implications of COVID and just where we are now in time and space, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable knowing that on a daily basis, I'm taking steps to ensure that I'm healthy and safe. It makes me feel more in control. I mean, control is absolutely an illusion, but in the unpredictable and chaotic world that we're living in, me personally engaging in these different preventative measures, it's like giving me my power back. So I encourage you, friend, to do the same. Take back your power. Invest in your health, because that's our wealth, of course. And do yourself a favor and get into this sea moss. Grab your sea moss, your detox tea and supplements from the Oh Well Shop. That's ohwellshop.com. You can follow them on Instagram, oh.wellshop. The Oh Well Shop, using Paging Dr. Teal as your promo code for 10% off and free shipping on orders over $50. You're welcome, friend. Well, friends, we are out of time for today, but you know I'm never out of solutions. First, I want to remind you to subscribe so that you can stay locked into the latest and greatest of Paging Dr. Teal. Then I want you to share this episode with at least one person and or on your social media page. Both are much appreciated. And after you've done that, please take just 1 minute out of your day and leave a review of the podcast. Whether you listen on Apple, Spotify, whatever the case may be, leave us a review. Reviews are important because they allow us to stand out a bit more and serve as a reference of sorts to new listeners. Sharing is caring, and knowledge is power. So please do both. Thank you in advance. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Paging Dr. Teal. Visit us on the web at www.pagingdrteal.com. Working on the website. It's being revamped. New content coming for you guys. I'm actually about to start offering a life coach and wellness consultation sessions. Whew. You definitely might want to check that out. Life-changing type stuff. One-on-one with Doc. You get to lay on the couch, the virtual couch, yourself with me. It sounds fun, right? More information to follow, but you've gotta check us out on www.pagingdrteal.com for more information about your wellness consultation sessions with the good doc. And so since I'm like your psychologist bestie, if you have a question or situation you want to get some guidance on, send them to pagingdrteal@gmail.com. I'm here for you, so I want to hear from you. In parting, remember, friends, your health is your wealth, so take care of yourself. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and don't lighten up, tighten up. Later.